Okay. So I was going to say that the instructor would the class will still continue. It's not like the class will stop and then you'll be doing capstone project. The class continues, right? While you're building with the knowledge that you know already. So the idea behind the capstone project is the capstone project helps you to put to practice all the theory that you've been learning for the past 7 weeks now, right? So 7 or 8 weeks, so they're about the capstone project helps you to practicalize all of what you've been learning for all of this period. Now, because after the capstone project, after this period, after your presentation, you'll be starting the boot camp, and in the boot camp, um, the backend class will play a vital role because as the design guys and the product guys make their research and then make designs, the front end and the mobile guys will be implementing. They would expect the endpoint to come from the back end guys, right? So if you're not doing it for the first time on the bootcamp, it might be a little challenging. So the idea behind the capstone project is to get you started, like help you understand how some of these things are supposed to play out before you get to the bootcamp. So the class still continues. I think the few things that you guys will have a class today, and then the other few things that are pending, you guys just complete them while you are also working on the capstone project. I don't know if that answers your question. So if there are no other questions, I think I would just let loose of the mic so that Mr. Michael can continue the class.
All right. So in today's class we'll round up. Is it rounding up? We'll continue our blog system, the blog system we are building. So I'll show you. I'm sharing my screen now. All right. So in the previous classes, we've been able to create the registration endpoints, the login endpoints. We've been able to use the token our login endpoint is returning to access the system. So let me come here and get posts and see I have the post and I even have the authors. So today, if you come back to our schema, you see we have blog posts, we have comments. So today we'll be working on the comments resources. And how do we go about that? In my protected route, I want to, you know what I'm just do? What I'll just do is to just create, this route, instead of having to create different file for our resources. I'll just use this route. So what I can do is to copy this my post controller and bring it here. So this controller is can come out of this folder once, and then I can come here and say post controller. Right. So what I'll do here is to copy the route I have here and bring it here. So here I can say post controller dots. So this is post, and this as well posts. Okay. All right, so I post controller. So we are going to do here is to don't export this individually. I want to say module exports, and I'm exporting the functions. So I think this should work. Again, come out of this folder and go to controllers. Just name default. or I can just press this guy again. Yeah, so we should be fine now. Yeah, I don't think I need this better to do. So what I did is to bring this post route out of the individual file. So that way we can just say these are post routes. So what we are going to do is to come here and say comments routes. And so this time we just want to all right, so what we are going to do is to come here and say, look, if you look at this route very well, I have the post, which is this one. Let me just bring it this way. The post, which is this, our post resources, the post ID, which is, so we'll have something like posts /10. That's the ID of the post /comment. So the get request for this endpoint will get us the comments, and the post request will create a comment for the post. So we want to implement this get post comment. We'll come here and say constant get post comments is our usual async handler, just like our. So we have our async handler here and the callback that will handle the request. So what we want to do is to export this function. And also we want to create the create post comment as well. So we are coming here and see export create post comments. It is also is our basic controller handler. So it should be constant. And then I want to export this port in this function. So now that we have our get post comments, what we are going to do is to say our post ID, constant post ID, or let me just destructure it. Post ID is what request.params. That's our query params. Is it query params? Part variable, not query params. So we should be, I think that's parts or params. Let me just log the console.log request.params. So yes. So for now, I just want to get post comment. So what I'm going to do is to come to my postman, duplicate this. So what I'm going to do here is to say post / the part variable of ID / comments, just like we have in our routes. Let me see the routes. Post the post ID / comments. Post the post ID / comments. So what we are going to do is to first of all get post from here. We have a post with ID 1. We have 2, 3, 4, 5. We have up to 14. So what I can just come here is to say 10. I'll hide this, then let me change this to get comments. Save and send. So if you check here, you can see our, what's it called? Our query params that I'm logging. Our request.params that I'm logging. So that means we have post ID inside it, and I can actually destructure it this way. So what I want to do is to say, so if I check my post schema, where is it? My comment schema, rather, I have the content. Just the content is the dynamic thing here. So I'm going to say come here and say constant comments is request of body. Request of body. So that way, once I have my comments, what I can do is to come to, I can say, for instance, let me comment this out for now. For instance, comments is what? Wait, prisma.comments. All right, so this is to get comments, not to create comments. So when you are getting a comment, you are definitely not trying to get things from the user. So comments, it should be comments.find menu. I believe everyone can still hear me, Sha. Give me a moment. All right, so we want to do what? We want to find menu, and find the menu, we pass in our objects. We want to say where post ID is the post ID that we got, and we want to pass it to an integer. So we want to say pass it post ID, and yes, we want to get the comments. So what we are going to do is to say our response, constant response, is what? Success is true, yes. Success is true. Message is comment successfully, comment fetched successfully, and then our data is an object that has the comment. So we are sending our response. Status code is 200 and JSON of our response. So if I come here, our server is not running yet. Now running. So if I send this request, I should have an empty array because I don't have, it should be comments, plural. Comments. Because I don't have any comments yet. All right, so we've been able to sort this. We're still coming back to that. What I want to do now is to create a comment which we already have here. Again, we want to get the post ID from the request param, but this time around we are getting the content, I think. Yeah, content. So we are getting the content from the request body. So I'm going to come here and say contents, just like I have this here. And if content is not provided, if not contents, right, I want to throw a new app error. I believe everyone is familiar with this thing. I'm vibe coding, so we call this vibe coding. You are familiar with this throw new app error, and this is the status code. This 400 is like something, an error from the user. So yeah, if we don't have the content, we want to throw an error. So we want to create comments is what? Comment, a singular comment, await prisma.comments.create. All right, so prisma.comments.create, yes. And then the data. So the data will be contents. Content should be content, right? Post ID should be pass ins, post ID. So this pass ins will convert the post ID to a string. If you check the one we logged here, you see, okay, it will convert it to an integer. If you check the one we logged here, you see it's a string. It has to be an integer. And then again, we want the author ID. Don't forget to attach user to our protected request. So we just want to come here and say request.user.id. And then this is telling me that request.user is possibly undefined. Because if you check this protected route, we have this question mark here, which means user can be undefined. So that what we are going to do here is to say, if we use question mark here, we are telling this thing that if it is undefined, you should assign null to author ID. But instead of using question mark, we want to use this exclamation mark. So that means we are telling the system that don't worry, we assure you that user will be there. It cannot be undefined. Are you getting it? So now that we've created our post, we want to structure our response. We have successful comments created successfully, and we are returning the comments in the data. Again, we want to return the response of status code 201 and JSON of our response. So let me come back to our terminal, sorry, our postman, use others. Let me duplicate this. So this will be create comments. It's the same endpoint, but it's a post request. So I'm going to save this, send. I should have an error, ensure content is provided, because we didn't provide content. And if you check here, we threw this error, throw new app error, ensure content is provided. So what we are going to do is to come to our body, come to raw, we want to send a raw JSON, yes, of an object of contents. So what will our content be? I want it to be a random Lorentzian paragraph. So yes, if I send this, I'm having an error. Let me send it again. Await content. So the provided value for column is too long for the column type. So let me show you something. If I open my PHP admin, that's my DBMS. If I use any other DBMS, you most likely not be using PHP admin because this is what PHP developer use generally. So most people that are not using PHP won't want to use PHP admin. And if you use it, you don't have any problem. So when I open my PHP admin, I come to the database. As that's database name is social app. I'm going to go to what's it called? I'm going to go to comments. As you can see, we have the content to be a variable character of 191 lengths. That's the 191 maximum characters. So what we are going to do is to change the column type from variable character to text. If you can remember, we did the same thing for blog posts somewhere in the title, sorry, in the content as well. We did change the data type to text. So we are doing the same thing for comments. We are going to change the data type to text. Are we connected? So it just occurred to me that what I've been doing has not been visible to you, and nobody could notify me. Or is it that you understand it already? All right, so I mentioned that if you check this our comments, check the structure, we have the content which has a data type of variable character and 191 maximum length of characters. So what we are going to do is to change the data type. We have text, we have variable character here, we want to change it to text. So what I'll do is to come back to my code base, If I go to my schema, I'm going to see my comments, I'm going to see string. I'll change it to at bb dot text. So that means we want to use what use. We do not have timestamp on this thing, if I'm correct. I'm supposed to have timestamp, so let me just come here, add timestamps. Easy about that. I think we have created that, yes. Updated at as well here. So we can just copy this. So you can see our column name is created as the data type is date time. The default should be now. So when I say now, that means the time this object is being created. And then this at updated at means we should always update whenever we are updating comments. So the same thing, let me do the same thing for posts. And we have users, let me do the same thing for users. So I'm going to run my migration. Let me see if I still have the migration command there. I don't. So so what I'm going to do is to come to my terminal and say npx prisma migrate, right? There, then the name of my migration, I can see added, okay, changed content column to text data type, um, comments, and added timestamps. So, okay, I think we have an error here. We found changes that cannot be executed. All right, so because we didn't set the default value for updated that it is going to because an error, so we can see, I think nullable. Is it nullable? Yes, it is nullable. So, or let's just see default should be now. So the default should be the time the object is being created. Likewise, this one, what should be now. So you can see what happened here. The moment I enter my command to clean up the file, it is bringing default before updated. And so if I come back again, run my migration, I think it should be good. Yes, we are good. The database is now in secret schema. So if I reload, you can see I have created that and updated at. So let me come back again and try creating the server running. Yes, and try creating the posts, the comments. Now our comment has been created. If I come to get comments, it is created, but it appears I'm not seeing created at and updated at, but it is available in my database. because we are meant to be seeing the timestamps. Come back to that. So if you check here, we have the author ID, we have the post. So what we can do is to say, come back to my post. Where is that? It's get posts. So I can say, if you check here, this find menu receives an object, and inside this object we have here, which is an object as there. So we have where post ID is passing this thing. We can also say include. We are going to include the author should be true, the post should be true. Post should be true, and not seeing post. Let me come back to my schema. Blog post, not post, blog post. And this should be blog post ID. Am I correct? Okay, post ID and then the offense detail. So yes, if I come to my terminal, if I come to my, why am I saying terminal? If I come to my postman and send this request, you can see we even have timestamps now. You can see we have author, we have the blog post being passed as well. Are you getting me? So what we did here is called eager loading. It is called eager loading, which means you are loading the attributes together with your model. And with this, you are making, I believe you are making just 3 queries to the database, which is to get the comments, to get the authors, to get the blog posts. So Prisma under the O will assign each author to the right owner, to the right post, and assign the right blog post to the right post as well. So yes, we have author, blog posts, and the actual post. So I think what we can do on post, get posts. Yeah, after getting the author, we want to count the number of comments each post are. So where we have get posts here, and we want to say count. Hold on. So inside, I think inside my what's it called? Inside my include, I may have underscore count. So with this, I can say select. I can say comment is true. So I want to count the number of comments each post have. So let me come to post, get a post, yes. And you can see I have count. Comments is 0. Comment is 0. 0 as well. 0. That's everything 0. Okay, yeah, we have this one that has comments of 2. It is the actual, yeah, 10. It is the actual post we created comments for. Are we connected? If I try creating comments for the post that has ID of 1 and send, come back and get posts, you can see ID of 1, you can see we have 1 comment. Are you getting me now? Another thing we can do is to add maybe views. Another thing we can do is to add views to blog posts. So I can just come here and say views should be an integer and at default of 0, right? So let's run our migration again. Migration and sorry. And our migration name will be All right, MBX Prisma migrates dev. The name of our migration is added views to posts. Yes, so our migration should run. Our migration should run. All right, so now, okay, I think we are missing something here. We have an error. Okay, we have a typographical error here. So what I'm going to do is to, are we all still connected? All right, so now that our database has been synchronized, if you check blog posts, you can see we now have views. Where's views? Views, which is an integer. We have views. So what we can do, all we can do is to, let me just get our post first. Views. I guess our server is not, wasn't refreshed, so yes, we have views of 0 here. So what I want us to do is to create another endpoint to get a single post. So I'm going to duplicate this. So this is get post. I want to get single post. So this should be /post / the ID. So we can just come here and say 1. So what I want to do is that whenever we request for a post, a single post, we want to increment the views, right? So what I want to do is to come here, say get single post, yes, post ID, get post. So go come back to our post controller, create. Let me just copy this function. Or let me copy this one. So we have get post, get singular, and then we have post ID from our query, definitely. Where, or let's just say find unique, where ID is post ID. Again, we want to include all these guys. Yes, string is not assignable to type number. So what we want to do again is to say pass it post ID. And then we still want to include all these guys. Here, a singular posts. And again, we want to export our function. So if I send this, come back to post 1. You can see we now have our post with views of 0. It's views of 0. So what I'm going to do, like I said, I want the views to increase whenever it is fetched individually, not when it is fetched in group, when they are looking for that particular post. So this endpoint most likely will be triggered when you open one particular post. Maybe you are seeing a list of posts and there's one that got your attention. When you click on it and open the page, this is when this endpoint will be called. So yes, what we want to do is to come to get posts. We want to increment the views. So what we are going to do is to come to somewhere here and say await. Okay, if post is not found, you can actually throw a post not found error. But what I want to do is to say await Prisma dot blog post dot updates. Yes. Anyways, we can just come here and say await Prisma dot blog post dot updates. We have where ID is past post ID, and then the data is views. So instead of saying we want views to be 10, or trying to get, instead of saying we want views to be post dot views dot plus one, we can just come here and say views should increment. So views is going to receive an object of increment, and you want to increment by one. So this should be done in the database, and you won't have to worry about getting the initial value. So something about getting the initial value is that you may be multiple people can be viewing that post at the same time. And if you already calculated 10 as the views, maybe when you were fetching this post, it was 10, right? And another person already viewed that post, added another views, making it 11. By the time you are doing post.views plus one, that means you are doing 10 plus 1, which is still 11. So that means one post is not counting. So all we can do is to say increment 1, and yeah. So if I send again, you can see our views is now increasing. This is it here. Are you getting me now? So typically what you want to do is to confirm that this particular user that is logged in has not viewed this post before. So if the user already viewed the post, you won't run this update. But if it is a new person seeing the post, you run the update. So that way you are sure that if the post is having 500 views, that means 500 people have seen it, not 500 page opening. Are you getting me? So yeah, that is that about our blog post projects. Does anyone have any question yet about it? Okay, we are not done with the project yet, but we are done with authentication and security. Does anyone have any question about it? Anyone, anything, anyone that needs clarity before we move to the next thing on our table? Okay, Daniel.
So I know it might not be related. This project now that we are going to do, are we doing the front end parts also, or we are just to
No, no,
focus on our back end?
you are just building APIs.
Okay, okay.
All right, so we'll be moving next to file uploads. We're moving to file uploads, and it is with file upload we require. So let me give you an instance of file upload. You are creating a blog post. Are you getting it? And typically a blog post will always have the image, maybe a banner at the top of the page like this, and some small other images. So that way you need to handle file upload in your package, in your system. So what we are going to do is to install an npm package called Malta. Is it Malta or Malta? Malta. So this is the package we are installing, and this package is what we use in our Node.js project to handle file uploads. Are we still connected? All right, so let's proceed to install our Malta. Let me comment this out for now. So npm install muta. You've seen added 19 packages, blah blah blah. We want to install the type annotations as well. So npm install as a get dependency types muta. So yes, we have added one package. So let's go to the documentation. We have blah 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 blah. So before we proceed, we want to configure muta. Is it muta or muta? I really don't know the pronunciation. Or should we just use what we have in their docs? Come. So what we are going to do is to, if we check this documentation, you see we have something like requiring just importing muta and create the constant variable of muta where we are going to set the destination folder to be uploaded. So let's just call it to our index.typescript and come here and say import muta from muta. Yes. And then we want to say, so after creating our app, we want to just come somewhere around here and say, for instance, upload is, so this is I think the destination. Yeah, the destination discovery for uploaded files. The storage is not set in there's that was created storage blah 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 blah. So basically we want this to upload inside uploads folder. Yes. And then again, let's check the documentation. So what we are going to do is to come to anywhere we want to use sorry, please give me a moment. Going to do is to create what we are going to do is to create a middleware. So let's come to our middleware folder and create a middleware for Malta config or Malta config.cs, right? And what do you want to do? Just like we've done, we want to import Malta from Malta, and then we want to create storage. Our storage should be Malta.this storage. We want the destination. We want the destination to be uploaded, definitely. Let's see. Okay, so CB is a callback from destination. So we have CB actually means callback. So inside this callback, we have to pass in either an error or a destination. So yes, now that we've defined our destination, I think that's all for now, if I'm correct. So another thing we want to do is to now create our upload, which should be Malta. So this will receive the first parameter, which is our Malta options. We say it is storage. And then the limits, which is our file limits, should be, let's say, file size. Should be 5 MB. So this is, I think, this is byte, this is kilobyte, and this is MB. Then, so 5 filter is what we use to define. But for now, let's just go with these basic configurations. Basic configurations. Okay. So let's go with this basic config. So what we are going to do is to export this upload. Export the upload. And how do we use the middleware? So how we are going to use this middleware is to come to somewhere like what's it called? Somewhere like our routes. Come to protected routes at the point of creating a post. This is the post endpoint. You want to say, so before the actual logic, we want to say upload, which is imported from the middleware we just created. This one. Upload.single, which means we expect a single file with the name file. So it is expected to have the key of file in our payload. Are you getting me? So once I do that, I can come to my create posts. And yes, in my create posts, I can say request.file. Or before then, let me just console.log. Console.log request.file. Request.file. Are you getting it now? So once that is done, once that is done, we can know what our file looks like. So let me come back to my, so our postman, where is it? So in our create post, the problem here is that we can't send a file with JSON. We have to use form data. We can't, remember I said we can't send a file with JSON. We have to use a form data. So if you check here, we have title and content. I just want to come here and say title is a random. What are we using here? Random lorem, region, sentence, and random paragraph. So random lorem sentence. And then the contents is random lorem paragraph. And then the file. The file is file. Let's just select the file. Let's select this one and send. So if we come back to our console, you can see the file is now being logged to the console, and this is it. These are the details you need to see, right? The file name is file. Okay, field name is file. Right? Original name, which is the name of our screenshot of our file, is screenshot something something. Encoding is 7 bytes. Name type is image PNG. Destination is upload. You check this place, you now see we have the file here. I think as a temporary file. And then you can see we have path, upload, something. We have the size here. So what we are going to do with that is so what we are going to do is to say we want this to be uploaded. Just give me a moment, please. Do is we want it to be uploaded in public folder, public/upload. So what we are going to do is to come back to our middleware, change this to public/uploads, right? And then we may now want to tweak the file name, or I don't want us to do that yet. I don't want us to do that yet. I don't want us to do that yet. So what we are going to do is to say, first of all, let's see if it is working. So let's send again. All right, no such directory public uploads. I think it will have to come out of this middleware folder, go out of the SRC folder as well, and that should work. Then we may want to create, let's try creating a public folder. And I believe that should work. Again, inside our public folder, let's create the upload folder. I believe that should work. Again, the same error. Let's see. Okay, another thing we can do is to say inside this meta config, can say, let me delete these folders I created, manually created. Where is it? Public uploads. We can say, first of all, our upload directory should be parts.join. So path.join is like you have something like documents, projects, something, and then you have another one like inside something folder, you have something like hidden files. Then you can have JS codes. So what path.join will do is to join the two of them together like this. So yes, path.join, I want to get the directory name, which is the directory, this directory of this folder, and then come out of the current folder, come out of the next folder, go to public, go to uploads. And again, we want to say upload DRI. So again, we want to ensure that the directory exists. So we want to say ensure the directory exists. So if not fs.file exists, sorry, if not fs.exist sync. So that will give us if we, all right, I think I need to import fs from fs, and I don't have fs installed. So what's fs? That's our code module. Let's just try. Fs should be installed. So let's try npm install fs. I don't think I've seen that before. Well, now added. So if we come here, we may still not be able to import it. So let's install the type annotation. So as types fs. I have an error. I think it doesn't exist. So okay, so fs is a package from Node.js. So we can do is to say import fs from fs directly like this, and then we can say fs dot exist sync, which you check if the folder exists. If it doesn't exist, we want to say fx dot make directory sync, which is the upload URL, and because it indicates whether parent folder should be created. If folder was created, the path for the first created folder will be returned. So should it create parent folder as well, or just the child folder? So after making sure that the folder exists, what we want to do is to say the callback. We want to call this callback and then put in our upload directory. So I think that should give us what we want. Server is running. If I send this, now we have our post successfully being created, and if we check public, you can see it is now created. So that is that about that. Now we want to be able to get the file name in our code base or the file path. So what we are going to do is to say host controller again. Don't forget what we encode here. We have the paths. Where's the path again? Wow. Am I even supposed to add this thing? Sorry, please give me some moments. I think I should just work with this. And you want to believe I'm correct and try deleting this. And send. So yes, everything still works. My public folder is missing. Unless it is created somewhere else. But let's just try it this way. Okay. No such file directory. So we have to add this. But the problem now is that it's not creating the folder. So let's return it back to the way we did that one. And if I send this request now, we should have our public folder. Valid authorization login. So our login already expired. We want to log in again. Carry the token. So this point that the token already expired is the point where the user will be logged out of the system. So send. I check, we have our public folder created, but I have an issue with this with the way this thing is showing. But let's see if that won't give us any problem. So now that our file is uploading, we want to, what do we want to do? We want to get the path, like the full URL of that file. We want to get the full URL of the file. We want to get the full URL of the file. So what we are going to do is to come here and say constant file URL is, so file URL will always be something like this, HTTPS. So our local, we are using localhost, it should be http://localhost port 3000 uploads and define it. So let's say image.png, right? So how do we generate this file URL? We want to say file URL. It's inside the request object. We already have the protocol, which is either HTTP or HTTPS. We can say, let me do it in a way we understand. We can say request.protocol plus, don't forget to add this guy as well, plus, now we want to get the host. And our host is local host listening to port 3000. We just want to say request.get hosts, right? Plus our public folder, which is the folder where the files have been uploaded, which is public. We are not even saying public, we just want to say upload, right? Plus what was the file name, which is the file name right there. Here. Are you getting me? Request.file, which is this file that we got here, and then the file name. So this time around, I want to load the file URL. I want to load the file URL. So I'll come back to my Postman. Is a server running yet? Come back to my Postman, send. So if I come back here, I should have this file URL. Let me copy it. Come to Postman, make those others. Paste. We are getting something very, very funny. We are getting an API response. And we are supposed to get a file. So what we are going to do, don't forget, when I was introducing you to Express, I talked about static files that you have to define where your static files are. So what we are going to do is to come back to our index and say app.use. So wherever you see uploads, just like we have for all these files, or wherever you see uploads, you want to use Express the static, right? Express the static, right? So now we are not just going into the uploads folder. If you check here, we have the base parts, the actual destination, this one parts. And how did we mix this part? We did it somewhere in our motor config, just like this. So we are going to copy this and put it inside the static. But this time around, I don't think we are coming out of any directory. Yes, we are coming out of the SRC directory and going to public. So that means this should be 1 and not 2. So if I send this request again, I think we should be able to get our job. See. Let's put this in our browser. So what is happening here is that it is downloading the file, and when I open it, it is bringing the actual file. But that is not what we want it to do. We want it to show as an image. Are we all still connected? All right, good. So what we want to do, I think something we may want to do is to add the file name. So if you check the file, it is generating some random name for it. So what we are going to do is to come back to our data config. Part of this config, so we define the definition. Here we want to define the file name. Again, we have all these requests and something. So what we can do is to have, let's have, so our file name will look something like this. And file dates, today's date is 12 something, and some random number, and I think that's PNG. So what we are going to do is very, very big. If you check here, we have file name. And what is our file name? Field name rather, which is file. The date, which is now, the current date and time. And then the extension. So we are trying to get the extension name from the original name. and this is the original name. Getting the extension should give you .png. So now that we have the file name, we can just call our callback, you know. So let's try that. Let's try that. If I come to Postman and send this request, you can see we have, so this is a timestamp. It is giving us a timestamp, not like a date. It's giving us a timestamp. So let me come back here and paste this. Now you can see we have image showing. Let me paste it in our browser. We have the image showing. Again, another thing I want us to do. So I had mentioned that this thing is a timestamp. So let me send this request again. This thing is a timestamp, which is the current time that we are on. So let me try copying this time and go to a portrait time converter. Go to a portrait time converter, enter the time, and you can see a few seconds ago. So that means that number actually represents our current time, the time the file is being uploaded. So now that we've been able to achieve the full URL of this file, we may want to come back to our Prisma schema, and somewhere in the blog post, we want to add an image. You can just say image URL. It's an optional string. Right, let's run our migration again. Which is added image URL with blog posts. Are you getting me now? So yes, I'm going back to my post controller. And don't forget you have the file URL. I can just come here, create data, and just come here and say what? My image URL is the file URL, which is the one we created. So I can remove everything from here. I can remove this console login rather. And then this is image URL, not just image URL. So yes, it should be good. If I send this, server is not running yet. Now running. If I send, you can see we now have an image URL. Let me change this image. Select another image, yeah. Okay. So if I send this, unexpected file, I send 2 files. So yes, if I click on this, you can see our image is working. I think that is that about file upload, basic file upload. Basic file uploading. So when you want to display a post, you have an image URL for that post. Is that clear? So you can see, let me go first delete these guys. This one that doesn't have any. So you can see while I'm testing, I'm uploading images and it is being tracked by my Git, right? Which means once I want to push this code base, I'll be pushing these uploads as well, which I don't want to do. I don't want my device I'm uploading for testing to be pushed to GitHub. So what I'm going to do is to come back to my Git ignore and say, I want to ignore, or let me just add Git ignore here inside this file and say .git ignore. So I added git ignore inside the uploads folder, and I want to add that I want to ignore everything. So this term means everything. And you can see the moment I added the star, it's removed the tracking it's had for all these files, which means when next I'm pushing, the files will not be pushed, but the git ignore will be pushed. Right? But these files will not be pushed to GitHub. Are you getting me now? If I'm testing, I'm creating file and I'm pushing, that makes the repository very heavy. And we don't want to do that. We need the actual code that makes the system run. Is that clear? So what we do today, okay. I guess that will be all for today's class. Is there any question from anyone? Anything you don't understand? All right. Luke.
Good evening, sir.
Yes,
Hello,
good
good
evening.
evening. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
boss.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for the lessons so far. My question is about the recording for on Tuesday's class. It has not been sent.
You what?
And then for the recording for Tuesday's class,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it has not been uploaded. Then secondly, I want to know the dates for the deadline for the project and then when we are doing the presentation.
So let's just have it in mind that we'll be doing presentation next week, Thursday. Next week, Thursday. So your project should be ready before then. If you are if you're having any difficulty or there's a part you are trying so hard to understand, you can let me know so we can just look at it together. Presentation will be on Thursday. Just put it in mind that we'll be presenting on Thursday. Is that fine?
Thank you, sir. Is it possible for today's class and Tuesday's class to be uploaded so that we can have access to it?
Yes, I just messaged the group amount of the class. For Tuesday's class, I didn't even know it's not uploaded yet. For Tuesday's class, it will be uploaded tonight. And then for today's class, it always depends on how fast Google sends us the class, the recordings. Are you getting me? But it will be uploaded as fast as possible, as soon as we get it from Google, because they are the one recording it. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right.
But they should try and ensure that it comes promptly because we'll make reference to it and go back to it so we can be able to follow through what you do.
All right, that's fine. I'll listen up. Okay, Basi, you want to say something?
Yes, good evening, sir.
Yes, good
Concerning
evening.
the capstone project, I was paired with Damilare and I've not been able to hear from him since. I've tried to reach him via Slack channel, but he's not responding. I don't know. So right now I'm alone.
Appeared with
Damilare Ajetum. That's group 5.
okay, you appeared with Damilare Adetumobi.
Yes.
Okay. Um, you said you've been trying to reach him, Abi, and it's not reaching you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Temi. No, no, no. Sorry, a moment, please. There's someone that's was saying it's not in a group. Um, Sorry, please. All right. Stephen Adeyemo, are you with us?
Yes, I'm listening.
All right. I'll be adding you to group 5.
No group 9 anymore.
Have you started working on your project?
No, not yet. But I have to
Yeah,
start this.
I'll be adding you to group 5. So you'll be working with Damilari and Basi.
Terminal. Okay. No problem.
All right. So I'll be sending you a updated. Is there anyone else that is not added to any group yet? Any other person? I think we have Adeluyiga. Adeluyiga. Okay. So, Faith, is your name Faith or Basi? Should I call you Faith or Basi?
Put up YouTube now.
Either of them is fine.
Okay. You'll be working with Steven and Damilari comes on board. That's fine as well.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right. Don't forget next week Thursday. So in our next class, I should already be okay. So I think we can just go through the topics one at a time. Right. Sorry, some projects. All right. So the first group, I think that's who are those in group 1? Group 1 has Lindway and Adebo Wale. Adeno. Is Adebo Wale on this call?
Yes, I am in the call, please.
All right. You are working with Lindway for this project. That's the healthcare tech project. Have you guys started?
Yeah, we've been having some background talk, so we'll continue tomorrow, sir.
All right. So basically, you want to keep track of patients' details and what problem they are having, what sickness they are having, and the treatment, the tests you've done so far. Just like we have here, problem statements. Hospitals and clinics struggle with efficient patient record management, appointment scheduling, and prescription tracking. Develop a RESTful API tool for managing patient records. That's their name, all the tests you've done, including the genotype, the height, the blood pressure, and so on. Implement user authentication and role-based access control. So role-based access control means if this user is not a doctor, are you getting me? If this user is not a doctor, you should not be able to access this endpoint. So what we are going to do, I'll give you a code sample now. Let's say we have this auth middleware, and let me just copy this and say user should be doctor. Right? So this will be a middleware. And what you can do is in your schema, you have user, you can just say type or just say type, yes, should be an anon. But not to confuse you so much, let's just use string. Type should be a string. And then you want to come to your middleware and say if request .user.type is not equal to doctor, as you can see. Very simple, right? So any endpoints you want the doctors to access, just like I have in my route, in my index rather, where I define my routes, I can say After the auth middleware, I want it to user should be doctor middleware as well. Do you understand that? All right, so I'm removing this from there. So that is that about role-based access control, store electronic medical something using encryption. So you may want to encrypt the data. So this time around, we are not using hashing. We are not using hashing. You go with actual encryption that you can decrypt data. Set up appointment scheduling API with real-time availability of it. So what you want to do is to get what's it called? The already booked time. Let's say for so doctor, someone has already booked 11 a.m., someone booked 12 p.m., someone booked 3 p.m., someone booked maybe 5 p.m. 2 p.m. or 1 p.m. is available. You should make that available and the person should be able to schedule. KDW database schema, you should be able to see your database schema. This should be MySQL. So you guys should be working with MySQL, not Postgres. API endpoint for CRUD, JWT access rate, we've done that. This we are going to do it. All right, for the group 2, we have good news and blessing. Are they here? Good news and blessing. Well, both of them are not here. So what I'm just going to do is to go through it. When they check this video later, they can confirm that. So develop an API for digital wallets, something. This is simple. Implement two-factor authenticator. So for two-factor authenticator, what you want to do is while logging in your auth controller, while logging in, I have register, I have login. After you confirm that the password is correct, before getting the auth response, you want to say if user dot ask 2FA, right? You may want to send an email to the user, send 2FA code to the user's email. So what will happen is that in our next class, I'll teach you how to send a mail. Someone should please do remind me, because that is not part of what I have in my curriculum. So someone should remind me in our next class. I'll teach you how to send a mail. And yes, as 2FA, you send the mail, and after the user enters the mail, you have one endpoint. So this here, we say something like this. If user dot ask 2FA, okay, we have this here already. Send the 2FA something, and then you want to say response to user. This time it is not an auto response. You can see we are not sending data. Success is false, 2FA required. 2FA required. 2FA required, and you want to send a response. So again, you have another endpoint for 2FA where they can impute the code. And after you've confirmed the code, is when you want to return this auth response. Let me check again. Fraud detection using transaction monitoring, and currency conversion for multiple countries. So what you want to do to make this faster is to just create maybe 4 or 5 currencies and put their rate. So you can say dollar is maybe 1,500 naira, 1,500 to your local currency. Maybe euro is 1,200 to your local currency, and so on. And then conversion, when they put their amounts, everything would work. OAuth 2. OAuth 2, we may want to touch that as well. Automated testing for transaction processing. This is in our curriculum, but not gotten here. Not gotten there. For group 3, what are those we have in group 3? What are those in group 3? Okay. That's very nice. All right, so you are building an e-commerce system, handle orders, payments, deliveries. So in one of our classes, I told you guys to build an e-commerce system, though that one was on front end where you fetched products. So this time around, you are doing it on the back end. So this, you create your products table, your orders table, and when they make an order, you reduce the items of the products, in the number of products you have, your inventory, and real-time inventory tracking. Yes, when you place an order, you want to decrement. So just like we did increment somewhere here. So just like we did increments here, you want to do decrements. Are you getting me? And then create a user authentication system for customer and vendors. We've done that. Customer and vendors is like role-based access control. So if the user is a vendor, there are some endpoints they'll have access to, and if they are a customer, there are some endpoints they'll have access to. Set up notification system for other status updates. So again, in our next class, please remind me that I should teach you how to send a mail. All right, so yeah, deliverables are the database schema, API endpoints, role-based access control for customers and store admins, that's vendors. And then implement stored API payments gateways. Yeah, so with this, we'll find a way to go about that. All right, so who are those we have in the four? We are those we have in the four. Both of them are not here. I think that's Okesh and Temitope Fakile. They are not here. So group 4 is an EdTech system, an LMS system. These projects, all right, Temitope. Okay, you are here. That's nice. These projects, this particular projects, from what I had discussed with Mr. Christopher, this project will be more than a capstone project. So after the whole boot camp, we'll be working on this LMS system, which Dive Africa will be using. So the next set of people that will be coming for training will be using the LMS. And your performance in this capstone project will determine if you'll be working on this project with us. Are you getting me? So this thing I'm saying is not only for people in group 4, it's for every other person. It's your performance that determines if you'll be working on this project with us. And if you're able to work on this project, that means you have something that is working that you'll be able to add to your portfolio. Sorry, please, can you mute your mic? All right, good. So the problem here is online education platforms. Okay, online education platform lacks personalized learning experience and structured course management. So, manage courses, students and instructors, implement progress tracking and quiz assessment. I've used an LMS system before, sure. User authentication and role-based access control. So this role-based access control is coming too many times in most of these projects. Please, someone, who is our class rep again? Someone should remind me in our next class to Lindy, you are class rep. Abi, right? Okay, you should please note it down. In our next class, I want to touch sending email and role-based access control. Are you getting me now? Where did I start? Role-based access control, content delivery system, like course material and so on. I guess this one we'll look at it later. And then for group 5, who are those we have in group 5? It's Basi, Adetumo Bidamilare, and Stephen Adeyemo. So for group 5, you are working on building a smart delivery tracking system. So basically, what you are doing is develop an API for packet tracking and delivery status updates. So yes, implement a route optimization algorithm for delivery efficiency, set up driver authentication and trip login, set up payments. So what happens is that most times, this if you are looking at something like child deck, the front end, which is the mobile app, is sending real-time updates to the backend of the location of the device location. That is how they are able to track the current location of the driver. So the updates can be coming maybe every 30 seconds or every 20 seconds or every 1 minute. I think every 10 seconds self is okay. So yes, you want to set up an endpoint for that. And every other thing, I believe they are not so serious. All right, who are those you have in group 6? Uloka, Ngozi, and Abraham Renami. Are they here? They are not here. But I'll just touch it and I'll just go through it. So for this group 6 project, it's a social media content creation, right? So this is developing a scalable social media API. Again, I've done this before. User authentication, posts. Oh my God. So this is currently what we are working on, posts and comments. You guys are so lucky. We have posts, we have comments, we've done authentication, real-time notification and messaging. So we are going to touch notification in our next class, sending what's it called? Sending email notification and the messaging. Because what I have here in this week, we are supposed to touch WebSockets, which handles real-time communication. But again, if we have a chance to touch it, set up media upload service for its cloud storage. So we've done media upload, but we did it saving in our local storage. Are you getting me? What we are going to do is to do something like S3 or an external server. Are you getting me? And then content moderation system, like a super admin that will be able to review, delete, or maybe flag on the contents the person has created. And then for group 7, do we have group 7? We have group 7, we have group 8. For group 7, we have Fola Lad, and we have Adeguke Adelu. Are they here? Okay, we are here. So your project is building a home automation API. You may want to look this up. Mostly all these devices, you'll be able to connect one hardware to the internet, synchronize with your app, with your API. You want to look that up. It's on user control, user authentication with multi-device access. Multi-device access is very simple. Just allow your login to be the user to be able to log in with multiple devices. Set up automated scheduling and energy consumption tracking. So one other thing, please, Lind will be taking note of this. One other thing we should touch is cron jobs. Cron jobs or background processes, so that we can run things, schedule things, and check. You can schedule something like check temperature of something.
Sorry, please come again. You said we should, what one thing we should watch out for is what?
All right, you should look, sorry. So you may want to look up the integration of smart contracts with APIs, but basically what you want to do is to just imagine that your hardware, maybe your TV or maybe your device, your gadget, have one device. It's very small hardware connected to them. You want to imagine that, and the hardware is communicating to your API. So what you are going to do is to create the API endpoint for that hardware to communicate to maybe send what's it called? Send data, maybe temperature of that device. So what you want to do is when registering a device, you attach an ID to it, send it to that hardware, and when the hardware wants to report to your backend, it is reporting with that ID. So that is what you use to identify the particular TV. Is that fine? And then for real-time status updates and connection devices, and connected devices. So yes, you may just this just has to do with hardware. Confirm your hardware has power. If it has power, the device is connected. And set up automated scheduling and energy consumption. So for this, we want to touch cron jobs or background processes. I think we are good with that. And then group 8, I think that's the last group. We have Christiana, Adekunle, and Adeoye. Are they here? All right. Okay. So you are building a food and agriculture tech, developing a farm to table marketplace API. So this is just like an e-commerce for farmers. Are you getting it? You're able to purchase, to order for farm products, maybe cassava, maybe rice, directly from the farmers. Are you getting it? And then AI-powered demand forecasting. So AI-powered, I may have to just teach you how to use the OpenAI. You guys know OpenAI, that's ChatGPT. The OpenAI's API. And for group 9, we don't have any group 9 yet. We don't have any group 9 yet. So what we can do is this group 9. Let's just leave it there for now. Should be playing there. So that will be all for today. That'll be all for tonight's class. Does anybody have any question? Anyone? Don't forget you are presenting next week Thursday.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm with you.
Sir, I think the time is short too. Maybe it's because I've not been consistent in classes, sir. I feel it's short, although it's doable. But that's just what I want to say.
Well, I understand it's short, but the whole training is actually spanning more than the time we calculated for it. And we just have to round it up. Because after the whole platform project, you are still doing a boot camp. And in the boot camp project, you are working with front-end developers, you are working with UI designers to bring a project to reality. Are you getting me now? So yes, we want to do this fast and move to the next stage. So Adeoye is asking, are we expected to finish all deliverables? Well, so most of these projects has 4 deliverables. You want to make sure you are presenting at least the minimum of 3. Are you getting it? The minimum of 3. All right, Luke, you are raising your hand.
Yeah, so I wanted to find out. So in real life scenario, is it that this short window of time, can someone execute an actual backend project within this short period of time, like in real life projects?
It depends on your level of experience. depends on the level of experience. So if you are very vast in what you do, you can get it done within that period. But before you get to that level, I think you have spent up to maybe 5 years or 3 to 5 years, yeah. That means you are very good and you have enough experiences. Let me say let's look at one project that requires authentication, requires role-based access control, requires sending email, requires WebSocket connections. You've done every of these things before. So all you just want to do is just copy what you've done before, join it together, and you've done the project. So if you have this experience, you've had this experience before, it will be faster for you to develop. Myself as a developer, the first website I did for 1 month, building every day, every day, every day, every day. I did it for 1 month. The second website I built was 2 weeks, and the rest was history. Are you getting me?
Thank you very much for that answer.
So are we good to go? All right. And then you just want to try your best. Just try, and try and get it done. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll be seeing in our next class, which is on Tuesday. And if any of you need help with your capstone projects, if you're having any difficulty, if you need clarification on something, you can reach out to me on my Slack. I'll reply to you. Thank you, everyone. Good night.